Can y'all hear me?
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
can you hear
got
us?
you.
Yeah,
Yep.
sure. All right, cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
cool.
Sound good.
All right.
Yeah. Late ill kid at one yourself holding it down, bringing that street geek and nerd soul. What is up, my people? Today, coming with another wonderful episode of That's Right, On Screen, The Boys. We got episodes 4 through 6, and I got two cool people chilling with me. All right, right here, you know him. All right, wrestling champion. All right, WCW, wrestling champion, WWE. Also, Olympic wrestling champion, Nate Mother Miller.
Whoa. Whoa.
So y'all better recognize. All right.
That's what wrestlers do, right?
Yeah. So, bottom square, you know him, you love him. Fencing champion, 2017. All right. Skeet shooting champion, 2018. Karate and MMA champion, 2019. Clement Bryant.
Again, why do you lie to the people? The people who watch us. The people are gonna try to beat me up in the streets when I go to downtown LA. I don't want this. I don't want violence. I want pacifist.
I heard
Anyways,
you could fight.
And I'll just be like Bruce Lee, like balls do not hit back. Like
Be like Karate Man bleeding on the inside.
No. Anyways, you ready to get into this?
Yeah.
Oh man, am I ready?
All right. What's the first thing we should bring up? Stormfront is a little bit older than we all thought, and she definitely likes the young guys.
Oh,
dude, that's just okay.
I love this show.
Spoilers, yeah, right. It's like spoilers for episode 6 since it just came out tonight. Yeah, but I think we just need to establish that. But
yeah,
we're
covering the last 3 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, I had a feeling like I told you all, I knew some stuff that was happening with it beforehand. I only read like one script, something like that. But then I had no idea that they were going to do this whole Liberty subplot with Stormfront, which is really interesting to kind of flip it on the head of the character, because the character straight up, always been Stormfront in the comics, I think. So to have them do this is kind of like adds a little bit of mystery to it.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a funk to it. I dig it. And
shout out to the chat. We got Corey Toombs. What's up? What's up? Nice to see you. But go on, Nate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's pretty much what I expected coming from the comics, with them kind of reusing that character, even though they changed it to a woman. I do really like, though, the way that they have implemented it, that like the romancing and this like weird twisted relationship that they have. That is. It's just so good. It's so compelling to watch.
Yeah, because Homelander's never really had a girlfriend, has he?
I mean, he has.
But he's never had
he doesn't
what would be considered like going steady.
Yeah, well, it's also like an equalness too, right? Like she can like the whole laser beam scene from like that. This, I just want to say before we get further into this, that I know that this show is not for everybody, and that's totally fine. But as a comic book nerd, this show is like the greatest thing I could have ever asked for. Like this opening sequence in this episode where she just like. There's just so many things about that scene. If a superhero punches you that has super strength, they're going to break your bones. So when she snaps that dude's arm, I'm like, yep. Okay. Yeah. And then when he like, just the, you know what I mean?
The head switch.
Just like, oh dude, it was just like, and I don't like gore or anything like that at all. But like,
that's why it's like, like this show,
but it's just so visceral and real, and it's very comic book like too in the presentation. And like, again, I love this idea of these corrupt superheroes, because the superheroes are essentially like the celebrities of this world, right? And it's the same way in our world where we see celebrities and influencers and social media, and you have these idea of what people are that's not real. They're just regular people. They live real lives. They poop, they fart, they make mistakes, they lie to people, you know? And so again, like this humanization of these superhuman people, like this is what I am here for. Like this is the side of comics. Once you get past the, not to disparage Spider-Man, but entry level Peter Parker, everything is nice Spider-Man, then you get into like the deeper meta superhero stuff. Like this is, I love it. I love it so much. I want to give the showrunners props. I'm so excited for more. And they just nail it, dude. Like that, the in the other episode when Homelander is giving the speech when everyone's mad at him, and he has that like vision where he like freaks out and lasers the crowd. At first I'm like, this can't be real as a vision. But then I'm like, with this show, maybe he does just go nuts and do that. But it was a vision. But just, man, like,
yeah.
Just imagine a comic with Superman and the audience is mad at him and he just flips it and loses it. Like,
they've sort of done Superman like this, sort of. But, of course, it's DC, so it was always Elseworlds. But I get what you're saying.
It's not... You don't see it to this scale in live action, you know, like that's like a comic book thing.
Well, I think. I was gonna say, they kind of got back in the bag that I enjoy on this show, but they've definitely stepped away from it. So I was like enjoying less, and then starting to enjoy like a little bit more. The kind of conspiracy behind the Sage Medical Center or whatever. Also the kind of like sneakiness behind Liberty. Seeing a little more of the CIA again, because with what went down, it just I really like when this show gets in its bag of big corporate versus big brother. And I'm not really being spiritually fed on that right now, but I did like seeing that Sage Medical Center and seeing where that might lead. But I know, you know what I mean, hey, the show, they try to focus on the heroes and not that part, but it's like, I enjoy seeing that, like the flashbacks and stuff. So I enjoyed that, but go ahead, sorry. No, I was just going to say, I think there was some news today about The Boys. I'm not sure if you guys heard, but now there's going to be a spinoff coming because season 2, the reaction and reception to season 2 was, for at least Amazon, really successful. It like I said, like it blowed like season 1 out the water. They were really happy with it. Forward with the spinoff that takes place on a college campus. So we have more Boys coming. It's a thing. Read up on it. So, and the show already got renewed for season 3 before season 2 came out. So we have a lot more of the show to come. Pretty much.
I'm not crazy about this. Like, I'm gonna give the spin-off thing a benefit of the doubt for now, and wait till I hear more about it. If it is like completely original IP that's set in the Boys universe, I'm immediately gonna be turned off. But if it is like some obscure subplot from the comic that they are gonna spin off into its own show, I'll give it a chance. Like this type of like satirical themed writing, like it can get very campy and bad very quickly. So
KB23 just said spinoff already. I'm like, you know, that's why I'm like, but
it's
you
just,
never know.
Amazon is jumping the gun because they don't have any other good, like what is the other good Amazon Prime original? Marvelous Miss Maisel. Hunters was so bad.
I liked Hunters.
I literally was on a show covering Hunters, and I had to quit because I couldn't do it. It started off so good, but
people talked about Man in the High Castle. I've never seen it, but
I've tried to watch that one too. They have a lot of okay, maybe not a lot. They have a few okay shows that are like worth watching,
but no like pop
but
culture
they don't
hits.
have. This is like their biggest like smash, where it's like
Yeah.
a show that would draw. Like those are shows you would watch if you had Amazon Prime, and you're like, oh, let me just see what they have. But you're not going to sub to Amazon Prime to watch those shows.
True.
Whereas The Boys is something that might actually draw people. That's why like they were so quick to renew it initially, and now again, and especially with this renewed vigor, it's got this like spin-off series. I think especially too, like it does kind of make sense to also dig into being the satirical superhero show, especially when there's really no sign of like superhero culture dying out anytime soon. So it could definitely
and there's always a different way to look at superhero culture as well. Because sometimes just being like, oh, superheroes are bad, and look at them, I'm like, well, we've covered this in comics before. We've never really done it on TV as much, but it can wear on me at times because I'm just like, well, I'm like, all right, cool, this Brightburn, some other like short film takes, cool, but what gets me here, even though I get a little tired with just like, oh, this is because you see the comments. It's popular because they're bad. And I'm just like, well, no, there's some good actors as well.
Yeah, it's
the actors are killing it. The
Yeah.
actors are really blowing it away. And
Yeah,
the writing
exactly.
is doing the writing is doing a very good job of taking source material that I think is, I would honestly confidently say the source material is bad for bad's sake. It's like, oh, well, let's just break everything just for the sake of breaking everything. And not to say that it isn't well drawn or something like, but it's sometimes things are just gratuitous for gratuitous sake.
I mean, it was the 90s, and also the energy was very much trying to. It's like punk comic books, like trying to break the traditional tropes and rules that everybody else would follow.
I think they do a good job of like taking like the best themes of the comic book and like applying it in a way where, especially with the acting, like it's just straight killing. Even like the looks between different actors and actresses, like the small nuance, like body postures towards each other, are really done like extremely well. Like especially with your boy Homelander and Stormfront. You have the moment with Stormfront. Well, I guess we can go on and get into it. I'll just throw. I guess we can start sort of around episode 4. Episode 4. I guess the big revelation is we find out that Stormfront ain't no spring chicken.
Nope.
And it was shouts out to Don Lewis. Good to see Jaleesa in the house. You know what I'm saying? Always got love for Jaleesa. But getting that backstory of like, hey, my dad, something went on with my family. My dad was working hard, trying to catch them or expose them or whatever. Ended up dead. These small like little pieces that we get on the way. The stuff from Jaleesa, the stuff from the young lady, the lady that they found, and then further on with the relationship between Starlight or just regular everyday Starlight and your boy Huey. You know what I'm saying? It's done in a way where it's like, okay, cool. I'm not always riding with the violence all the time, but these actors kind of keep me coming back. And I really want to see where this goes with Stormfront now, especially the whole liberty aspect and how many lives has she lived. And of course, further on with episode 6, where she kind of like reveals to like Homelander, a lot of this stuff is starting to kind of like show semblances of like tying together. But you guys, episode 4, any standout moments for y'all?
I'm gonna be honest, that was like
really
3 weeks ago, and I'm just saying it's, to me, it all kind of, the season kind of like blurs together. Like I didn't take notes, unfortunately.
Cool. All right, cool.
I remember for being the one thing I remember from 4 is the distinct reveal of of that she's literally a Nazi. I mean,
Yeah.
even more than we got in this most recent episode. And I just remember being like, holy, they're actually gonna do it. They're actually gonna do it. Those madmen.
And then tying around to being like, you were, what we were looking for, what we were trying to build all those years ago, and blah blah blah, and like you're going to be like the sort of like their second coming, I guess, for lack of a better word, and like we never have to be alone again. So it kind of makes me wonder: is Homelander going to be ageless, maybe, or will he age slower? Like, I mean, they haven't really referenced that. So I'm not sure, but she seems like, yo, look, me and you can do this forever. You know what I'm saying? And I hope not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
because y'all crazy.
Everybody hopes not.
Because y'all crazy. But I do like also that we got Maeve doing her behind the scenes stuff. You got her working with Deep. Now you got old boy A-Train on the fence. You don't know what he doing because they're like, yo, you got to get up out of here. You ain't fast no more. Well, I mean, he's still fast. He's still faster than regular people.
He's not the fastest.
He's not the fastest anymore. They're like, you got to go. And it looks like, we were talking about it a little bit a couple of weeks ago, like, is the church of,
it's literally Scientology. Into this episode.
It's Scientology. So it's like, is the Church of Scientology trying to position itself against the Vought? Like it, because it definitely seems like.
I mean, they're definitely their own independent faction for sure.
Yeah, and after the lunch, it definitely seems like they're not in a love fest with Vought. It doesn't seem like they're trying to pick an open fight with them. It seems like more like, all right, we gonna, like lay in wait for hours, but we're definitely amassing heroes. And we're trying to kind of like recruit more heroes. Especially when they got, women coming through, you can pick your wife. Well, nah, not really. He was like, nah, I want to pick that one. She was like, no, you picking this one. So I don't know. I don't know where to put them now. Like, do you guys have any thoughts on what you'd like to see from the Church of the Collective? That's what it is. Church of the Collective. And I wonder sometimes if Vought is even aware of the Church of the Collective. I mean, they're aware of the Church of the Collective, but aware of what they're doing. Because it seems like they're trying to poach their members.
Go ahead. What you got?
I don't know if it's poaching. It's more of, at least from what I'm getting from the whole relationship between Deep and the Church, it's more of like they're trying to brainwash him in a little bit. So when you have someone get back on the 7, you have someone repping for the Church. Their whole long game is to get him back on the 7. If he wants to be on 7, but he really doesn't know that he's becoming a bigger pawn in their game than just him getting on the 7.
Right. It's just like them getting to Deep and talking to him about his problems and doing his rehab wasn't really to help Deep. It was to get him into a better position so that he can talk to A-Train, who might be able to regain his spot on the 7. Right. Like it's a ladder of using people, which is clearly evidenced by like just straight up blackmail, which again is something that the Scientologists engage in, right? Like, tell us your secrets because it will help you, but in reality, we're just collecting them, so we have a hold over you, and we find literally that like that's what happens. It's really interesting. The guy too, very much. When I looked at him, I'm like, this guy is straight out of a '60s Marvel Hellfire Club comic book. Like, there's definitely
like the nice forks and everything. And
but I like that. I like that there is like a third faction that we don't necessarily know exactly where they stand. I don't think it's something good.
But it's good TV.
Yeah, well, I mean, plot wise, like I don't think that they're, I think if they find out that Vought's real plan is to, take over the world again as the Fourth Reich with an super Aryan army, like,
yeah,
I feel like the Church of the Collective might be like, I don't know if that's really what we want, So
Right.
that's what's interesting is that kind of adds somebody who is not necessarily a good guy, but also still kind of opposes our general bad guy.
Yeah, because
Also, I'm still kind of curious how much Gustavo Fring, I forget his character's name in the show.
Stan?
Yes,
yeah.
Edgar. Yeah, I'm moderately curious how much he is involved in the deeper kind of conspiracy that is Vought, because with a company like that, even you have people that think they are in charge and they know things, but there's whole subdivisions of the company that they don't know what they do, right? So it could go either way at this point with how they've set it up on the show. But I wouldn't be too surprised later to find out that Stormfront is leading like her own faction or something, or like, True. And maybe Stan was not aware of like what their true intentions were or something like that.
Yeah, because big shout out to the chat. We got Jen and James in the house. What up? What up? It does seem weird because one side of me thinks that he does know, because when Homelander stepped to him, he didn't seem like he was cautious of anything, which means that to me that he would be have a good handle on what happens in his house. But I mean, they could be walking around behind his back like Hell Hydra, and then and then he like never ever knows. So with this, I like, once again, when we get into conspiracies and stuff like that, I think that's for me where this show shines. Like I said, big corporate versus big brother. I think that's another large thing in our culture today that maybe isn't as poppy or flashy as celebrity worship, but there definitely is. I mean, we've seen it play out. I mean, we saw Congress bring Mark Zuckerberg and a whole bunch of other people up to Congress, and they were like, "So, I'm rich." And I mean, even we were like, if Jeff Bezos walks out in the street right now and shoots somebody, broad daylight, is he really going down for murder? Like, do we really believe that? I mean, it was reported one of the Varsity Blues chicks, it might have been like Aunt Becky or whatever, got to choose what jail she wanted to go to. So it's like Jeff Bezos is definitely above her level. So it's like, there is a lot to be said between this push and pull, and this tug between who has the power. And like I said, we saw they blew up the director of the CIA, blew her head up.
The other thing,
and we haven't heard anything since then.
The other thing that you mentioned with Jeff Bezos and Lori Loughlin is the fact they're white. They're white and rich. It's a whole different thing when you're black, regardless you got money or not. So I think that's also part of that conversation. But we don't really have a lot of that in the boys just yet. But I expect that because of Stormfront's entrance into the show now, and now that her and Homelander are basically doing the deed all the time, it's probably going to come up sooner rather than later. Yeah.
I think we're going to get a lot deeper into that kind of mind frame because of that small but very intense moment with Stormfront and A-Train. A-Train's like, chilling on set, and then all of a sudden, conversation just turns real quick, and it's like, whoa, what are we talking about? But I like how he kept his composure, even as a character that I don't like. In that moment, look, hey, solidarity, A-Train, we here.
That's why, again, like this echoes a lot of themes from Lovecraft Country, which we were just talking about. But
true.
Like this show is very, I mean, this world, right, it's very much Watchmen, but in the 90s instead of the 80s. And so the sex and the violence and the colors and everything are turned up to 110, and that's basically, and then you have the boys. But what it carries on from that lineage of Watchmen, outside of just like parodying superheroes that we're all familiar with, is that the characters are actually real people. They're three-dimensional. They have flaws, they have desires, they make mistakes. And even the ones like A-Train or the ones like the Deep, like we're seeing that they do have depth, and doesn't necessarily make them likable people, but they're not just, oh, I'm bad, I do bad things because why not? They're bad. Like, no, A-Train has the drug habit and he deals with the inferiority complex, right? And there's like those things. The Deep has the self-hatred. There's stuff like that he's dealing with. Even like Homelander has his insecurities about his growing up, and that's why it's someone like Stormfront, who is so manipulative, is able to so easily manipulate him and take advantage of him because of his weaknesses. Another thing I really liked is
he was about to cry. He was about to cry in that trailer, boy.
As terrible as it was to this episode when Annie kills that dude, I was like, good. That's because that's what happens when you're super powerful. You kill people on accident. And that whole relationship this episode between her and Butcher, how like they're the same person. They're different, but they're the same.
Yeah,
and
like Butcher and Homelander are very similar.
Yeah.
No. I'm saying Annie and Butcher are more similar. I don't think Butcher. I don't think Butcher is very similar to Homelander. Like Butcher's done some bad things for sure, and he's a shitty guy. But he, in general, I would say, does have the greater good in mind. Whereas I think,
and I don't think he's psychotic. Like,
I don't think Homelander understands what the greater good is. He just is a child who had never like fully developed and is just kind of going through the motions, doing as he pleases.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you open this up on these quieter moments, like Homelander in the trailer by himself, that's when this show, that's another layer. Even though it's not giving me the conspiracy stuff, that stuff shines for me because it's like that dude was up in there acting. Boy, about to cry in that trailer, boy. And I was like, yo, what is he about to do? Talk about it's an electrical fire. But I did want to get into Maeve, which is a whole another thing that's like straight messed up what he's doing just because, but maybe he's letting up a little bit because you got Stormfront now. But it's crazy what he's putting her through just because he can. And it does make me wonder at times, like power levels and stuff, because I know these are just basically parodying, the Justice League. But if that's the case, Wonder Woman's never really scared of Superman. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, in this case,
but that's because Superman is not Homelander.
Right, exactly.
No, but what I'm saying
is if Superman was Homelander, Wonder Woman would be scared. Because Wonder Woman's very strong, but she's not Superman. Also, Maeve can't fly in this continuity, so she's not one-to-one Wonder Woman.
Yeah, because Wonder Woman has fought Superman to a standstill twice that I can think of. So, and it was mind-controlled Superman, so he was crazy. But she's fought him to a standstill, which means that, power level is around each other. But
that's not what that means. That means that author decided that there was going to be a standstill. If you look at the characters as they're described in general, that is not a fight that if Superman's at a disadvantage, she can hold her own maybe. But look, I'm not the one who created Superman and made him all powerful, okay? But he is, all right? It's not my fault.
I think also the other element is Homelander is effing crazy. And that's the difference between if we're talking regular DC universe Superman, Homelander and Superman. Homelander beats him by a mile because
Right.
Homelander is out of his mind.
And that's
once
also,
you have someone out of your mind, power set, while it does play a part, that person will get very creative with their powers and they'll go off on tangents just to do what they want to do or complete a goal.
Also,
and
too,
that's
like
Homelander.
that's the whole point of this plot too, right? Is like it's she has people that she cares for. So it's not just like I have to fight you and beat you. I don't even have to fight you. I just threaten your girlfriend and now you do whatever I want. Right?
Yeah,
like that's
true.
that's the superhero plot as old as time. That's why you have your secret identity, right? So that people don't find your loved ones.
That and Homelander doesn't have anyone. His son hates him.
Yeah.
The mother of the son hates him. He has no one.
And
so
also,
in a way,
like, I want to emphasize too that he's not a person. He was raised in a lab. He didn't have a real childhood.
He's a product.
He has always known himself to be above humans. So that's why when he had that is the beauty in this nuanced character of him getting so upset about this like feelings that he's having
relationship
for Stormfront because he doesn't understand it. He doesn't know what to do. Like it's literally a child like with a nuke fumbling around in the dark. Like it's terrifying.
Shouts to Jenna James said, yeah, Soups would dog walk Wonder Woman if it came down to it. Oh man, you gotta do my girl Diana like that. Come on now. But anyway, but I do like coming in this whole side thing with like, yo, look, we gotta take Homelander down. All right, we gotta take him down, and I'm not gonna take it. You know what I'm saying? The whole behind the back stuff with Deep being able to find the video and the wreckage, and him just going off on its tangent about halibut. That was funny. He's like, oh, those guys are crazy. This is like, I mean, I
always
guess,
talking about the fish,
but they're fish. But then, that story that he tells of like he was walking by the, the pet store and he can hear them begging for their lives. That has to mess with you. But her and the way they did her and her girlfriend, Elena, right? I think it's Elena. I hate to say it, but it is your basic, and I'm sure you can attest to this, Clement. This is like your basic marketing setup. And like they were showing the pictures and stuff, and I'm like, I hate to say this, but this is exactly how they would play this. And shouts to Malcolm Barrett, man. Malcolm Barrett was in this spot. Yo, what up? Nice to see him get some shine. But I was like, this is exactly how they would play this.
No, it's
she has the pride bar.
sometimes it's even more exploitative than what they actually show in the show. It's like it's some marketers are better than others when it comes to this, but some like if you're all about the numbers, you're like, okay, the reach of this person has 3, 4 million, 5 million followers on Instagram, and they're big on TikTok now. And it's like, and they're bisexual. It's like, it's a whole big thing, which is why I was surprised to see them kind of take that angle with this and actually show it how it plays out. Because that was one thing that I was like, oh, wow, they're actually going for it. And they're going, and let me backtrack. When they announced this show, I was like, they're going to do The Boys on Amazon. I was like, what? That was my reaction because I was like, that is
because it's so anti-capitalist just in nature,
right?
From the get-go, it's so anti-Amazon. But look, I'm not gonna complain as long as they keep it up. But yeah, I agree with you. Like it's crazy. Like even at the end of this episode, I'm just saying to myself, like, I can't believe they did it. Like the significance of taking a character like Stormfront. Having her have the introduction to the series that she had, the social media presence, the fake woke stuff, yada, 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 to turn out to be a literal Nazi in the room dancing with Hitler and Goebbels, like, and then to instantly, like, just the mask all the way off. These other races, they're getting in the way. We gotta take, like, oh Brand, dude.
And you know what?
The fact that she is recruiting
100 Supermen and all
the
that.
fact that she is the whole plan revolves around recruiting Homelander, who is essentially like Mr. America. Like the symbolism, I could not ask for better symbolism. It's so good.
I like it. It was
crazy.
So good that it made me cringe in the middle because I was like, we just saw what happened with Breonna Taylor yesterday.
Yeah.
We just heard what happened with the like hysterectomies and ICE last week. It's like coming off the heels of everything that we've just seen, and now we're hearing about Trump having a coup. It's kind of like it didn't make me cringe. It didn't make me cringe of the fact that it was bad. It made me cringe of like how close we are as a society to what she's actually talking about.
Yep.
And I had to pause it for a minute because I was like, I don't know if I want to keep on watching this, but I kept on watching because obviously I got to talk to you guys about it, but also too, you know, we needed to see like what the flip side of that is. And I'm kind of scared to see where they're going to go for it in the next episode. Scared in a good way.
Yeah, because we got we got 2 eps left. So we'll see how they rock
next
this.
Episode, everything is going to crack off like it has to, especially
it has to.
Yeah, because the bald head exploder lady is loose.
Yep.
Right. They have Lamplighter now.
I expected a little more oomph from. Like, you know, when Stormfront came through, I was like, well, you know, old girl is unleashed now. You know, she got them Tetsuo powers, you know what I'm saying, explode you in the hallway. So I'm like, yo, look, it's about to go down. We about to get a scene. And Amazon was like, scenes cost money. What we're going to do is electrocute her.
I mean, she's a 100-year-old superhuman who is versus a one who's been in a cage and likely they've encountered and she's electrocuted her before. Like even
I was expecting like a little more anger showdown kind of thing, but I was like, I understand.
I mean, I understand. The implication too from seeing this girl and her power is that she's the one who killed the CIA lady, right? Because like I don't see anybody else just exploding heads, right? So this is a tool that Vought has been using of exploiting these people's powers, and she specifically has been part of that. So I'm very, very curious to see where that pans out. I mean, again, setting up another essential wild card who does have this power, who is definitely going to be anti-Vought because of what they put her through, but also is not necessarily a good guy. Like we don't really know.
We don't know where she's at. Because she came out, she was like, who are y'all? And we were like, we ain't with him. She was like,
I thought the Lamplighter stuff in this episode was really good. Like the way
definitely.
that they have brought up more of the lore of like what's happened, like the flashback scene.
The flashbacks were
with
all
Butcher,
very good.
And like I was like, more of this.
Especially coming from a show like The Strain that had pointless flashbacks.
Yeah, this is normally
Stephen Lemieux, man. We struggled together.
I know.
We struggled together.
You really wanted to like that show,
man. Because the first season had so much promise, and then just said, "Hey,
that's the worst, dude. That's the worst feeling."
Yeah. I think one thing that I wanted to bring up with you guys was episode 5, where they kind of what happened with Justice League in the reshoots. There was a line in episode 5 where they were talking about new Joss rights really make it sing now, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, or the scene with the director where he's like, "Yeah, I like what you have, but we're just gonna stick with the script as written."
It's like, "Ooh, I really like your passion." Oh. He's like, "Yeah, word up." You know, just
so
leave
good.
it like vague. He's like, "But we're gonna do what we wrote."
I'm like, and I get scared.
Wrote mad stuff.
He was like, yeah, I'm not. He was like, well, I'm not gonna do it. And old boy was just kind of like, well, I'm gonna get Ashley on the phone. How do you like that? And then A-Train just quietly backed down. Just
it was like, all right.
But I get so scared for the humans in the show because I was like, yo, you know, this guy can kill you in a second.
Yeah.
There's always that kind of energy that's going on with this show for me.
And that is something that makes me wonder, because I've never read the whole series of The Boys, because it just wasn't my cup of tea. And seeing the show, I'm like, this is, like I said, kind of like they were able to get like the best parts without kind of like I guess it is violent. It definitely gets violent.
Yeah, there's a lot that doesn't translate well, especially into our era right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of R word stuff that doesn't make it in, which is good for good
and
reason.
F word stuff too, and
yes, true.
There's a lot, and Ennis is not known for writing great female characters either. So that's something that actually has been really good with this show. Just like with Preacher, how they were able to turn I forget the character's name. This is awful, but Ruth Negga's character into an actual yes, thank you. Into like an actual character, even though in the comic book she literally just chases after him the whole time. Like it's not good. So in this very similar way, like especially that's why I like the Stormfront change so much, because it's something that initially as a comic fan be like, I don't know, man, that seems kind of weird, but they've turned it into like they've somehow made the character, it still checks all the boxes of the other character, but now has more depth and also an interesting interaction with one of the larger characters. It's just really, really well done.
Yeah, and shouts out to QB23 and Jenna James in the chat talking about Vought equals AIM and Hydra, or how how Homelander is like a rogue Sentry Hyperion. So I'm like, okay. I see where you're going. I see where you're going with that. I see where you're going. So that's dope. And shouts out, QB said, yeah, I'm afraid for Dawn already. Protect her at all costs from Stormfront. Hopefully, Stormfront ain't even thinking about her. She went and told, she told the people they got their little kernel of knowledge that they needed, and they were able to, be out. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully she won't be in any trouble. But for someone who hasn't read everything or seeing how this is going to either of y'all, I don't know if either of you have read it all. Is there a possibility for someone that actually is on par with Homelander's talents, if you will?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Because I was like, sooner or later, you're going to need a fumble. I mean, just like Superman has his fumbles. You have like you got like Darkseid, you got like what is it, Mongol or whatever. You got
Doomsday.
You got Doomsday. You got Lex to a certain degree. You got Lex to a certain degree. When it comes to
the dumbest thing.
When it comes to the
only reason why Lex Luthor stood a chance against Superman is because he had like a damn near infinite supply of kryptonite.
Yeah, but
has literally nothing to do with Lex Luthor himself.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like there's some type of folly. And we've been going on this show for 2 seasons now, and there's no real folly for Homelander. And not saying that there needs to actually power checks power. So there has to be something there to push pull towards. And maybe that'll be season 3. I don't know, but especially since we're not getting, it doesn't seem like any kind of pushback from the government right now. But we do have 2 more episodes left. I'm like, I mean, we saw the senator out there like, hey, we're taking this to the Senate and we're going to, talk about it. We're going to, have a hearing or whatever. But that's it. I'm like, do y'all care?
Right.
like, maybe y'all don't care, but who knows? With this video that Maeve is about to drop or threatened to drop, maybe that'll change or move the needle a little bit, at least socially, to then get the government involved.
There's a good resolution in the comics. I'm not gonna say anything to spoil it. But in terms of the show, I do think even in this episode, like I personally think Stormfront is stronger than we think. I think Stormfront is a actual real threat to Homelander. I think even like the way that he said, I thought they were gonna fight this episode when he was like, you said that you're not easily breakable, and I've been thinking about that. I was like, they're about to throw down, but then they didn't.
Then they,
and then she was like, nah, we don't have to fight. I'm a Nazi, and he was like, okay, cool. But I think she's a real threat for him. Also, I do believe that like I think with the way that they have set up the world, it's not out of the realm of possibility for there to be others on his power level or even maybe stronger. I'm hoping that something like that doesn't just kind of happen out of nowhere like a Deus Ex, but I feel pretty confident that when that time comes, that they will handle it in a way that is rewarding and not like because feels cheap.
We do have this whole idea of other countries trying this mess. Like they're like, because like Russia is sitting around like, we ain't gonna let America just have all these heroes. We gonna try ours too. And China's doing their stuff and Japan's doing their stuff or whatever, so there are these kind of like, I guess, loose threads that may or may not be pulled of like other governments being like, hey, we're not just gonna let you fly in our country and just do whatever you want. Like, what do you think this is? Like, we're a sovereign nation or a sovereign nation state or whatever. Like, we got our own heroes. Like ain't no closed airspace or whatever. Who knows? Because on the I guess on the political side, you can't just go in any country and do whatever you want. Well, not. Let me preface that you're not supposed to do anything you want. But it would be nice to see kind of like that pushback from any number of countries. I mean, even if you wanted to tie to what has been going on in the last, say, 10 years. We got Brazil, Venezuela, Colombia, North Korea, Russia, China. There's any number of places that might have a beef, you know what I'm saying? Or there might be, a whole European Union of heroes or whatever that's like, we don't want your Homelander over here or whatever like that. It would be interesting to see how that plays on a global stage, since they've already gone to a global stage, but without really kind of playing with the repercussions. But I know with shorter seasons, you got to kind of nix all that stuff, because you're talking about like 8 episodes. So I know we got to nix a lot, but I would be interested to see what comes out, because we did see the terrorists the super terrorists that we dealt with already. So we know there's other countries that are interested in getting into this biotechnology.
But remember that happened because he gave them the Compound V, because he wanted to get the defense contract. So as much as I agree with you,
good point.
It's a very cool concept, but I don't really think that's something that's going to be explored in this show. I think, again, a major part of the theme is American imperialism and capitalism. And the only global things I think we'll see again are our influence on the world globally. Because, I mean, look, let's be honest. Traditionally, American culture, we don't care about the rest of the world. We care about us, and they care about us because we're America and our news matters. But what do we know about overseas news and stuff that happens in other countries? We don't care. So in that same way, I think, for the most part, the Vaught's America, they don't care about the rest of the world. They have the superheroes. They run it essentially. Like they're not worried about that. Now it's a little bit of an issue because this Compound V has gotten out there, and like there's this possibility that more people could get their own
people
suits.
Try to replicate it and stuff.
Right. But I think for the most part, it's definitely going to be from the American perspective and focused on that. And even to that degree, like I don't expect to see much more big government involvement outside of the CIA Black Ops group that is the boys, because I mean it's twofold. One, they haven't really laid a lot of kind of like governmental stuff for that to be a plot point. There isn't like a government official like leading a team or something like that. And two, in reality, if there was something like this, the U.S. government is not moving against Vought. They're a multi-billion-dollar company that resides in, the U.S., has military contracts, probably pays way less taxes than it should, but still a significant amount of taxes. And they have soups. Like, what is the government going to do? All they can do is try to appease them and like make money with them and be like, yeah, they're with us. That's the whole reason why it's the CIA, and it's not only the CIA, but it's like a disavowed CIA black op, that is taking on these soups. Like it's not a thing for the like. I in my head canon, at least, the government is not actively pursuing a case against Vought. If they have to, if their hands are tied, they're going to be like, hey, where's some legislation? You guys shouldn't do that. Just like regular politics.
You shouldn't do that.
It's the same. It's the same reason why, and I'll say this: not many people can check Homelander, but this is exactly the same kind of thought that Stan Edgar basically makes Homelander. He intimidates him. He has no powers. He's an older man,
or at least that we know of.
That we know of. But yet he's still
they could always throw that in there.
Yeah, but he's still able to him. It's the same thing that Nate's talking about. Like, Vought is uber ridiculously powerful. They're probably more even powerful in this universe than Amazon is. So it's that whole thing. Like, so I personally think that depending on what they do with the spinoff, if they do it right, they could thread a needle to, like, other stuff with Compound B happening in other countries now that it is out. But that's a wishful thing, I'll say. But they could do that with the spinoff.
On the actor side, KB23 said Amazon really scored with Anthony Starr. Whoever put his name in the bucket for this show deserves a raise. And then Jenna James followed, saying it's going to be a race between DC and MCU to see who snags Starr. I can easily see him as Doom, Reverse Flash, Beyonder, or Guy Gardner. No Guy Gardner, please.
Not Guy Gardner.
Even though he's done some heroic things in the past couple of years, but no.
Guy, you need someone who's like affable for Guy Gardner, but also kind of for lack of a better word, douche.
Yeah,
that you're still like, I
Officer
still like him.
Douche. He could totally do that.
I mean,
I think Gardner is good for him. I would want Gardner over like Doom.
Over Doom, but for like a cinema, for like DCEU Reverse Flash, I could see that being a thing.
All right, now you're just making words up.
I think that would be great. What? What'd you say?
I said now you're just making words up.
Okay.
Here's me, a talented DC writer. Man, we need some new characters for the Flash. What should we do? I don't know. Let's do Reverse Flash. Then we can do Never Turns Left Flash. And then we can do Flash, where like he flashes. When he flashes naked, and then that's how he moves really fast. Like, come on, dude. We got Evil Flash, Reverse Flash,
I know we have
like bad Flash. So it's Reverse Flash. Godspeed, Professor Zoom.
Mina. In the comics, you have his girlfriend Mina or whatever. Then you have Jesse Quick.
Jesse Quick isn't a villain, is she?
A-Train.
No. But like as far as like Flash related speedsters, that's the whole thing. Okay,
Nate be hating on him, man. They be hating on. Yo,
I'm a Marvel boy. Get that DC out of here. Excuse me,
I like DC out of here.
To be written by people. The Flash again. Should we do a lesson on dissecting very poorly created, incepted superheroes? The Flash, he moves so fast. Talk about the most uninteresting comic in the world. They literally have to slow things down for you to be able to see them. For things to happen. If he's the Flash, every time there's a bank robbery, be like, okay, bank robbery's over, crime's over, no problem.
Crime's
like,
over.
What he literally they have to hamstring him in order for there to actually be plot and like things.
Well, technically, they have to hamstring all heroes.
And tell me why the Flash just so happens to have a bunch of villains that also run really fast. Seems awfully convenient, Your Honor. Seems awfully convenient, Your Honor. That's all I'm saying.
Oh boy.
You're killing me, Nate.
You're killing me, Nate.
You're killing me. Wow.
You're killing us. What are you doing in here?
You have a separate
Jenna James put in Red Death.
Yeah.
Red Death.
Oh man.
Red Death, yeah, Red Death is one.
Yeah,
like,
Red Death is another. So stop it, Nate.
They try to start something.
I am excited to see the next things that Star does. Like he's definitely has that charisma on screen. Like for playing these larger than life characters. He's definitely gonna get snatched up for something good.
Yeah, and he's and shouts to this show, because it sees we got a little more time. Shouts to this show for creating some genuine suspense and tension for me. Because usually I'm like, I'm just watching the show, cool, no problem. This is happening, that's happening. When they were doing that thing at the medical center and Stormfront flew over, I was like, oh, they need to get out of there.
I was like, run!
I was like, they need to get out of there. And then he said, look, he told old boy to call him. He said, yo, call him. Did we hear a phone ring? I'm like, look, dude, Stormfront is there. How many digits is his cell phone? How long does it take to call?
They don't have Verizon.
They was messing with that Boost Mobile.
I mean, they probably do have Boost Mobile. They gotta be off. They probably have burner phone.
Oh yeah, he had that track phone. He got to be off the grid.
Yeah, it's the track phone.
He got the track phone. You know what I'm saying?
Like, they got all that.
Track phone. Like, snap the SIM.
He's like, oh no, that's the old number. I need the new number.
You know what I'm saying? He was going through slips of paper. The new. All right, cool, got you. But I had true feelings internally, like, oh, they got to get out of there. And then I was like, when I saw Bobby Drake in there, I was like, man, ain't nobody tripping on you. I was like,
nah, bro. I was like, Lamplighter.
That was so like it's cool that this show, even in its second season, can already have like a cool Easter egg character like that. Like I was excited because I mean, even outside of the comics, like just in the show lore, like they had set him up as this person who had died last season, wasn't in the 7 anymore, and there was this mysterious thing that happened with Butcher and all of them and stuff. So like that all coming to a head was really good. I really enjoyed Frenchie this episode also. Like he's very much just been a character that's kind of like he for me is one of the characters that up until this point was very one-dimensional to me, and I kind of was like, all right, whatever. But this filling out with his best friend and this girl and like the thing that happened with the children, and also him going through this roller coaster of emotions to eventually like pleading for a Lamplighter's life at the end, like that is just great.
That was
writing.
crazy.
Yeah, good, that was really good.
So many good things about this
because you find out, that Lamplighter's been dealing with this for years as well. Because he's like, you watched them burn, you did, blah, blah. And he was like, yo, I didn't know it was too late. He was like, look, I went there, and I mean, I guess you could say live by the sword, die by the sword. So old girl, an adult, she's CIA, we fight each other, she got bullets and stuff, that's a fair game. But, those children, he was like, I didn't know. And, having that guilt all of those years of like, I just never knew. Because I'm pretty sure he went in there, you have to get the drop on her, so you just showed up, boom, immediate fire. So, he probably didn't even know until like the fire was like halfway, to the bed or whatever. So to see how he had struggled with that for years, and then also see how Frenchie had struggled for years with his friend, it was once again, the actors are crushing it in here, man. The actors are crushing it. And I do want to see what Lamplighter goes, because now, as you can see, you know what I'm saying?
They left that dangling in that.
Yeah, they left that hanging. And look, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's damn near a team now, like between Lamplighter, A-Train, The Deep, and Starlight. Like that's a team there, especially if you're trying to fight Homelander or something.
Yeah, if they were to come together, I mean, Raymond Reddington's ex-girlfriend, I'm pretty sure she got some plans for how to use Lamplighter. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see.
Ex-girlfriend.
Yo, man.
We gotta talk about,
man. What's up?
The one dude in the cell.
Oh no. I completely forgot.
What?
Thank you. Yes, we gotta talk about that. All right. There's a knocking at the door. Thump, thump, thump. What could it be?
Oh
Thump,
my God.
thump, thump.
No.
What could it be?
No.
It's so loud. It sounds so heavy. What could it be?
No.
Thump, thump.
Show's undefeated.
And a crash.
Undefeated.
A crash of power, thundering wave wrapping around his neck.
Wait, why did you have to say thundering wave?
Yo, when it wrapped around his neck, I was like, yo, I know what that is. I know what that is. And you need to Purell your whole neck, like right now.
And you know that we already know that he's a clean freak too.
Yo, man. Get it all.
Oh, man.
I'd have just been crying at the end of that scene.
It was funny enough when they're like going through the cells looking at people's powers. And I was like, oh, that dude has a huge dick. That's pretty funny.
There's nothing.
I guess you can't control the superpowers you get, right?
Well, I mean, at the same time, it's kind of like on X-Men where you have the I can't even think of the Morlocks. You know, every power ain't gonna be super sweet. Every power ain't gonna be like electricity and flying and
even
super
Beast.
strength and even Beast. You know, every power ain't gonna be super sweet. Some power is gonna be mad mundane. Like, dude, like, all right, you can chop off my arm and like that's it. Like,
like the acid vomit, dude.
It was crazy to see that his power worked on him. Because like in Alien, they can't burn. Can they burn their own cells? I don't think they can.
No.
See, they can't burn. Yeah, they can't burn their own cells. So,
but they're also. I mean, not to get too meta, they're parasite organisms, right? Their bodies and their systems are going to be designed for them to be able to burrow into bodies and reproduce, and then
oh god, can we not talk
exfiltrate from the bodies?
Can we not talk about alien things right now? Oh my god, I hate that.
So once again, wrapped around his neck so tightly. Yo, homie had mad power with that joint too, because homie had him like locked up and up against the door. They had to break through there. You know what I'm saying? Then who knows what really happened? Because Shorty Doo-Wop went in there, but you saw the the bossy tat on his forehead. It might have well been a tat because she punched that man hard.
Laid him out.
He punched him real to put the name in his forehead like that. She punched him for real. So, and then he just shriveled right back up. It was like whoop, 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 whoop. It just went right. Just went. I like, wow. Didn't know that. Yeah, you can't. He can't be a superhero. Like, he can't be like, hold up, everybody, I've got this.
I also, before we go, I want to talk about Black Noir as well.
Yeah,
with that episode,
I wanted to bring that up.
Creeping through the fog.
House.
You know what I'm saying?
Just staying on top of the rooftop for the whole day. Like,
and taking all those explosions and stuff too, and like shrugging it off.
Yeah, it's like, yo, man, we need to stop being vague with these power sets. What can you do? All right? Because you took that exploding man or whatever, he blew up straight up in your face and you was just like, so? And then you took, 3 explosions in the house? And then
like
mad
shrapnel
bullets?
Bombs.
Yeah, and then mad bullets? And you was just like, so? Like, yo, look, hey, what? Look, I guess he's like second to Homelander right now? Because nobody's really described what his power is.
Yeah, I feel like
just
that's kind of the whole thing. Is he's supposed to be like mysterious?
Yeah,
but it's also very interesting that he is out there acting specifically as an agent of Edgar's, right?
Oh yeah, Stan the Man.
Yeah, so there's definitely going to be some more to that. I was kind of surprised that the bluff worked. It seemed kind of like, even though everything else seemed very well thought out, like. The idea that you are just holding these pictures, like I feel like there's a way that Vought can spin it, and they have the kid, they have the mom in their custody, they have Homelander. Like, I don't see why some photos of them existing is really that much of a threat, but I appreciate.
I would sort of agree. The only reason I give them an out right there is that they just got out of a social media thing. It's like, you don't want that back to back. Like, you don't want to.
That is true.
Yeah, you don't.
That's the episode the Homelander thing was going on too, right?
Yeah, you don't want to do the Terry Crews it. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to say something stupid and then turn around like a couple days later and then do something stupid again. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to do all that. Well, come here, little guy. Come here. Mwah, mwah. All right, peace out. So, say peace. Say, hold on, come here.
My man said Terry.
Say peace. All right, cool. But yeah, you know, they had just got out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? You just got out of trouble. You had the whole thing with the Compound V, and plus now the at least I think at this episode, the Homelander video. So it's like, look, we already in trouble. We don't need no more bad press. You know what I'm saying? So look, we'll figure out another way to get them. But I did enjoy the memes of Black Noir, people having him looking like a like an ex-boyfriend. I saw so many memes like when your ex-boyfriend, when you don't call your ex-boyfriend back after a drunk text, and he just like, because homie was
creeping.
Yeah, he was creeping.
It's also crazy
even Butcher
too,
got in the car and was like, "What?"
The like the dichotomy of what we've seen of Black Noir from season 1 to season 2 also like cannot be unintentional. Like he did some crazy stuff, but it was all very like tongue-in-cheek, like silly. And so far in this season, we've just seen him just like murking people, just being like straight up full-on Black Ops superhero. So there's something weird going on with his like personality outside of also like his power set. And I mean, it seems like they're keeping his identity secret too, essentially, like because he's the only person that has like a full-on mask, right? Everybody else is for the most part exposed.
And stop heroes. To all my heroes out there, stop like coming to people's desk and sitting right behind them. People don't like that. All right. Look, if you want me to do something for you, I'll do it. I'll get started on the changes.
Send me an email, okay?
Send me an email. Chat
like
message.
everybody else.
Inner office message.
We got
the inner office.
That's right. Hit me in the Slack.
Homie was like, look for Butcher. She was like, all right, cool, I'll get started on it. He was like, no. Now. He was like, look for Butcher now. You heard what I said. It's like, well, I mean, technically he ain't saying nothing, but he said a whole lot. And she was like, oh, okay, well, I'll get
He doesn't have to say
now.
nothing. All he has to do is just stand there. He'll just look like a creeper and just be like,
let's see. Kibi23 says they're gonna reveal Black Noir's identity like GOT, the mountain. And Jenna James says, wonder if they'll keep his secret the same as in the comics. So I guess so all y'all comics people, y'all already know what's going on. But
I don't want to say anything to spoil it if they do go in the same direction. But the way that they've set up, it could be different, but it also could be the same. I feel like with the way that they've already made choices with the show, and also in general, like when you do something like this, it's one of the biggest. I'm surprised that you don't know, actually, Mike. Like I know people that don't even know that much about the boys, but they're still familiar just because it is kind of a really big, well-known twist when it comes about.
I think I know what it is because I've seen some conversations, but it hasn't been spelled out. Yeah. But I don't want to say what I think I know it is.
Yeah, same. I don't want. And I think that because it is kind of well known that they may, throw Hail Mary,
flip it on you,
and kind of switch it up. Yeah.
And you know what? And I like that too when because it is an adaptation, so it's like don't be afraid
as long as it makes
switch
sense. I'm cool with that. I think they've made very good choices in terms of keeping the themes and the like plots and characters similar to the show while still being able to update them, not just like for 2020, but also like culturally to be culturally relevant and also like culturally respectful and have good representation and stuff like that. So I give these showrunners the benefit of the doubt for sure.
Question, I guess, before we get out of here. Question to Clement first, and then Nate after.
Shoot.
Is there going to be any real repercussion of getting rid of the tracker?
If Homelander finds out, probably, because he already has something against Starlight to begin with.
Yeah, he ain't really been too keen on her since the start.
Because of the whole thing that happened in season 1 with Huey and her relationship with Huey, he has some sort of issue with her. So if he finds out that the tracker is gone, he might be like already just be like, okay, you know what, you're out of the 7, or worse, kill her on the spot. But we'll see how that plays out. And I don't know what's going to happen with Stan. Stan might be like, what's going on? We saw how Ashley was freaking out, like, or Starlight. No one knew where she was. We're going to see more of that in episode 7.
Yeah, I think immediately into next episode, it's going to be the Where Starlight thing. Mm-hmm. And also, I think the kind of, because the killer bald chick is loose, I think she's going to, I think the cat is going to be kind of out of the past. Like, I think everything's going to hit the fan next episode. Like, they're going to find out the tracker. There's going to be more stuff public about the army that essentially they're trying to be able to build. Lamplighter's still alive, so I think they may try to have like Lamplighter come forward and like have like a public statement or something like that. But I think like some real stuff's going to happen next episode.
Shouts to KB23 said, yeah, because it's not like she decided to go full rogue. She still got to show up to work.
I don't think she will. I don't think she will.
No call, no show. She just quit.
Well, I think she's scared. Like, and I think that's part of the point of why she's with them and why she took the tracker out, because she's like, I can't go back there. You know, like, Homelander could kill her.
That elevator scene, Homelander, or sorry, the actor, but Andy Starr does such a great job of making you think like this dude about to do something real right now. Like 2 seconds, something real about to happen.
Yeah, like, he's very good at face acting. No words, just facial movement. It's like, what?
Like, I'm gonna go crazy face, but it's not like crazy. Like, it's not like,
it's like unhinged.
Yeah, it's like, definitely.
That's a good part. Yeah.
Yeah, and KB23 said the Sinead O'Connor chick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So like, I hate to harp on it over and over again, but again, like, if this were real, if we really had these superheroes, even if there was this like public perception of them being good and stuff, if you're in a room with that dude, you're in an elevator with that dude, we just in real life, we just can't fathom what it would be like to be around that power, right? Like,
when he stepped in that elevator, terrifying. I was like, run, girl, run. I would have waited till the door started to close a little bit and dove out that door. Run.
Oh, I left the oven on.
Like, oh, I gotta take a call real quick.
Right. Then he goes, your phone didn't ring.
Like, no, I'm gonna make a call. I said take, but not make. Because when he got on the elevator, I was like, no.
And then imagine too, you're not even a regular human, right? You've got your own superpowers. You're a little bit of a notch above, you've got some authority. And then boom, this MF walks into the room and it's like, yeah, I could cut you in half with my eyes, not even sweating.
Yeah.
Like, oh, cool. Like, I'm nothing. I'm an ant next to you. Like, it's
like
terrifying,
even with my powers, like I'm still not, like I couldn't even make it interesting. It's kind of like these things we see on Twitter every now and then where it's like this person versus this person. It's like, come on, man. Like, it's like sometimes, like I've seen some stuff where they put somebody laughable. Like, I want to say it was like Harley Quinn versus Jean Grey Phoenix. And I was just like, come on, guys. Come on, son. Even though my girl be fainting all the time.
That's how you get your nerd card revoked.
Phoenix doesn't faint. You know what I'm saying? Phoenix don't faint. Jean Grey, she do be fainting. All right. But Phoenix don't faint. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. It's not even fair. But with that said, guys, we feeling good. We have exercised the demons. Well, most of them. Keep it going in the chat or in the comments down below. Before we get out of here, I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat. Kibi23, Jenna James. That might be it. No, we had Corey Toombs in the house. And yeah, that might be it. And some lurkers out there. So, with that said, to my right, maybe your left, or however it goes, how it flips it. My right, your left. You know him. You love him. Times Man of the Year, Nate Miller.
That's right. Me and Megan Thee Stallion, Men of the Year. Guys, you can find me everywhere online, Twitter, Instagram, and also at Twitch at DogLikeNate. Yeah, please come check me out. Tweet at me. Tell me why I'm wrong about the Flash, and I will tell you why you're wrong about the Flash.
Why you're wrong.
It'll be lots of fun.
And then down below, you know him, powerlifting champion 2018 and 19 back-to-back years, worldwide gold medalist, sprinting and hurdles, Clement Bryant.
Again, don't lie to the people. The people. I'm trying not to be like Homelander. Okay, Homelander's got all the power going to his head. I'm trying to be humble AF. You're lying to the people. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll switch up the
Twitter,
jobs next time.
Just social media marketing whiz. Okay, that's all you got to say. That's all you got to say. Anyways, Twitter, Instagram, at Clement Bryant. And yes, the Flash does have a purpose in the DC EU and DC Comics universe. And that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. So, NERD, SOUL, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all in places. YouTube is the hub. Hit that thumbs up if you like what you see. Hit that thumbs down if you don't. When you hit that thumbs down, I'm going to send the Vought company after you. You'll never know who they're going to send. You never know. They got options, all right? They got Stormfront, all right? You get electrocuted. You got Homelander, you get, eye lasers. Or you got Black Noir, just kind of be creepy from across the street. You got podcasts if you want to listen. Spotify for that music. Thank you for rolling through. I'm going to leave y'all with Arcatron. That's right, ARCKATRON logo right here. The Space Bridge in stores. We out of here. Y'all be good. From us to y'all, peace. And a woo for you. Wu-Tang. You know they for the children. Come on, man. Look, just don't worry about all that. We out of here. Peace. Oh, man, word up.